What's going on? This is the What If podcast, and we have something a little bit different for you this week. We've started doing monthly live shows in Minneapolis, and last week we were fortunate enough to have our friends Eric Mayson and P.O.S join us to ask, what if ideas belonged to everyone? It ended up being a ton of fun, and we got some pretty good audio out of it, so we want to share it with you. Also, we'll be doing another live episode Tuesday, April 18th at the Nomad World Pub in Minneapolis. It's free, and it starts at 7 o'clock. We'd love it if you joined us.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to, and for the first time ever watching, the What If podcast. My name is Ryan Copperroot.
What up? My name is Spencer Worth Davis.
Big cats.
And we're joined by two very beautiful and disgustingly talented individuals who are also good friends of ours. On my right, the lovely and talented Eric Mayson.
Eric Mayson.
Hello. And one over from my left, ladies and gentlemen, P.O.S.
Hello.
Can we call you Stef on the podcast? Because it's like two less syllables.
No, that's way better.
You just did. That is way better or not way better?
Yeah. Call me Stef, please.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better, too. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Holy shit, there's a lot of people here.
Yay!
We feel both excited and extremely terrified and uncomfortable. So please heckle.
Speak for yourself, bro. I feel great.
Spencer feels great.
I need to.
Ooh, we got to turn Mario up. We got Mario in the building for
Fam,
tonight.
that's Luigi.
Oh, that is Luigi. I'm sorry, I lied. I love you, Steve. Hey. So, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise if you have heard the podcast before. Make some noise if this is your very first time hearing an episode of the podcast. I'm all right with that mix. That makes me pretty happy. Thank you all for coming out, whether you have or haven't heard us. Thank you very much. It seems like people are apparently listening to us, which is still kind of mind-blowing. But today, we have our very first live episode, and we're asking the what-if question today. What if ideas belonged to everyone? Spencer, what does that mean?
That means that people don't own shit and try and own shit just to make money off of it. That people share their ideas with each other for the betterment of humanity.
Spencer had a very opinionated take on the very first stab of the podcast. But we are going to go down that direction. Mason.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
We're talking about intellectual property today.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What is property? Is that an okay place to start?
We probably should have started back there. We didn't. I have the history of intellectual property for us.
Okay, well, that's a good place to start, too.
Okay. Are you guys ready to hear about the history of intellectual property? I like how nerdy this is. We get to do it. First of all, though, I want to talk about this picture behind us. Spencer, where did the idea
You don't
for
have
this...
a picture behind you, bro. You got a blue
nice,
light behind you.
Blue
Uh-oh,
hue.
Katie, we lost our projector. It's a J. It's with the yee sound.
Ryan made a really beautiful PowerPoint for us tonight.
Yo, I'm so hype about it. You guys have no idea. I got slides on slides on slides.
Right now, I'll describe it to you guys because that's just as good as the projection. It's a picture of a salad. There's a plastic. It's very tightly cropped. There's a plastic fork. I can't really identify what any of the ingredients are. It looks like a horrific salad.
It does look really bad.
Really bad.
Some pepperoncinis.
Oof.
Is that bacon?
Is that bacon?
No, it's not bacon.
Ooh,
It just looks like the inside of a Big Mac.
If it's bacon, it's raw, and that's disgusting. But okay, Spencer, why are we looking at a picture of a salad?
So I was at work the other day, and whatever.
What of a salad?
Don't cheer for that shit.
We'll keep it moving.
And I usually avoid my coworkers just like at all costs. But I tried to eat lunch with my coworkers the other day because it felt like the right normal human being thing to do.
Sure.
And this lady comes in and she's talking about her salad that she's eating for lunch that she bought from Target on the way to work. And it's one of those like D'Amico and Sons prepackaged salad things. And this lady is the most hype that anyone has ever been about eating a salad for lunch. And her coworker is like just on some small talk shit like, "Oh, what do you have for lunch today?" And she starts going in on this D'Amico salad about how it's the greatest salad she's ever had in her life, and no one has ever made a salad better than the D'Amico and Sons Target salad, and everyone should be eating this shit every day for lunch, and you're just dumb if you're not. And she's like, "Oh, what makes your salad so great?" She's like, "It's patented. No one else can make this salad Target patented this salad. Fam, it is a combination of vegetables in a plastic container. You cannot patent a combination of vegetables. That is a salad.
As we will learn, holy shit, you can patent some weird stuff.
And so instead of continuing to engage with my coworkers, I left and started prepping ideas for this episode.
So that's where we are. We are asking the question, what if ideas belong to everyone? We're talking about intellectual property, copyright, patents, trademarks. We're going to give you the difference between all those things and salads, apparently, very gross ones. So to get us going, I'm going to send us into... nope, that's the wrong direction. Okay, so history is only kind of boring, but we're going to do this. So back in 1710, I'm going to transport you to England. There was a time where, thank you, the space travel, time travel sound effects are more than welcome. In the late 1900s and early 1700s in England, the rule was basically authors got shitted on was the rule. I'm not going to explain it to you in like the exacts of it.
That's a terrible rule.
Authors got shitted on. So if you wrote a book and you took it to a publisher, when you gave it to a publisher to be printed,
they pooped on you.
They did not literally, but they by you passing your work to the publisher, you gave the publisher the rights to create your book, and that meant that they could sell it, distribute it, copy it, make more copies of it, stop making copies of it, ad hoc as they felt, no matter who or what you said about it.
Wait, so what changed?
So in 1710, I see.
That sounds like every publishing deal ever.
See that? I'm just throwing bows. I'm just throwing bows up here. So in 1710, they passed a law that said, hey, authors are kind of getting shitted on, and we don't really like it. We should probably stop shitting on authors. So the Statute of Anne, named after Queen Anne, Queen of England at the time, says basically that if you write something and you give it to a publisher, you as the author still get to publish that thing as you see fit, not as the publisher sees fit, for 14 years. Okay then. If you guys can't figure out who's saying things, there is a soundboard up here that's going to be contributing the whole night. So if that's new to you, that's what's happening.
Heck. Bjork.
So 14 years of copyright belongs to you. You can re-up for another 14 years. This is like the first sort of historical evidence of ownership by an author of a piece of information, content, something that you created, right? We move forward. Damn, we lost the projector.
Nah, we got it.
Oh, okay, so I gotta just like change slides back and forth regularly and quickly, so it stays
Freaking
away.
me out, man.
Okay, so
High-octane historical documents.
those.
Say more funny things not into your microphone.
What's that?
It really works out well.
This is all for me.
You're looking at a picture of the colonies, the 13 original colony. So, of the 13, I love this in this document that I was reading about this. Each of the individual colonies, having sort of been inspired by the Statute of Anne, created their own copyright laws, right? So they're all creating their own little colonies coming over. And this article says, quote, except Delaware. Like, fuck Delaware. They don't know how to do copyright. All 13 of the colonies except Delaware.
It's still fuck Delaware. It's been fuck Delaware.
Sick burn. I've never been, so I can't really say.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, Delaware's just mad misunderstood.
I'm pretty sure it's not even a real place.
Yo, Spencer loves his own Luigi. Did y'all hear that laugh? He played Luigi and was like,
You know what's funny? I played that one accidentally, but my timing is still flawless.
So, after all of the colonies have their own sort of version of a copyright law,
Except for Delaware.
except for Delaware, fucking Delaware, as the Constitution is created, they added a clause, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, that states that to promote the progress of science and useful arts, Congress is empowered to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for a limited time to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their writings and discoveries.
What's useful art?
Well, what do you think useful art is?
Macaroni sculptures?
That's I think our parents would say so when we were like third grade, because that's what proved to them that we weren't idiots. Like, you can put this inside of these lines, and that's good.
I mean, you can use any kind of art for art's purpose, right?
You could.
For art's purpose.
Was this superfluous?
For art's purpose.
He found the button. He found the button. I gotta sit back. I feel like I've been like leaning up into everything.
This is gonna make this way more fun.
This is so much better. Yeah. Steph gets the pad.
We'll share, except Steph doesn't know what any of the buttons are.
I don't. Except
It's
this one.
about to get weird. So that's how us as a country started. Shit.
You guys ever think about how weird it is that they had all these words and books and stuff like 250 years ago?
What if they didn't?
Tell us more about that.
I mean, shit. I can't imagine stuff happening like 50 years ago. You wrote a book 250 years ago?
That's true.
Now we're reading
That's like
it?
all you could do, though. There wasn't like other medium to
That's real.
express ideas.
No, you could scratch stuff onto other stuff with stuff.
That's called a book.
Isn't
bro.
that a book?
It might be a book. It might be a drawing. It might
Yeah.
be.
It might be a tablet,
It might be a wall.
That's true.
a cave painting.
They had walls 250 years ago, man.
Hey.
They had walls like thousands of years ago. First dude who made a wall was on some shit.
So, I like that the crowd is now doing the Ouija. We got this. We're in this together, y'all. So that's how we started doing intellectual property as a country. Now, to your point, Mason, what is intellectual property? Can we do some definitions real quick? Are you guys okay with definitions? I feel like definitions are important for us to all to start from the same level plane. All right, tight. So we're gonna say, what the hell is intellectual property anyway, right? So copyright.
Show me what you got.
All right, this is what I got. Copyright is a form of intellectual property applicable to certain forms of creative work. Typically, the duration of a copyright spans the author's life plus 50 to 100 years. These rights frequently include reproduction, control over derivative works, distribution, public performance, and moral rights such as attribution. Could anybody have even remotely given a definition of copyright similar to that one in this room? Anyone?
Not me.
Because I couldn't have.
Not me.
Okay, and not you, and like not any of us as people who like make copyrightable shit.
Yeah.
Technically, right?
True.
True.
You're still gonna own your songs 100 years after you die. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Or your family will.
Well, right.
Your kids will.
Hey.
Is that
Hey.
true? Does it get passed down?
It does actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So that was
That's why like Marvin Gaye's estate is out here suing Robin Thicke.
Oh, sure.
One thing that I didn't bring up, which was a mistake, is that after the Statute of Anne was signed in 1710, there was a period of time after the statute was signed called the Battle of the Booksellers, which sounds lit.
That sounds awesome.
Like a literal war to the death?
No, I think it was more just like people fighting over like what should we do next. And one of the things they fought over was should your kids be able to take up your
I see.
copyright and then
Yeah.
take that to a printer and print your book.
Yeah.
Feel me? All right.
I was hoping it was more like a rap battle.
If booksellers in the 1700s were rap battling, we live in the wrong
No, they
era.
just write books at each other.
I would have murdered.
Chapter 1.
I would have murdered that shit.
For my wife.
Okay, so intellectual property, all of these things fall under the umbrella of intellectual property, right? So trademark is the next one, right? So a trademark identifies the brand owner of a particular product or service, typically a name, word, phrase, logo, symbol, design, image, or a combination of these elements. Trademarks serve to identify a particular business as a source of goods or services. I missed a period in there, and as an English major, I feel the need to apologize profusely. I will flog myself later.
A trademark is a logo, basically, yeah?
I mean, it could be more than that.
It's a thing you do to It's a thing you do to something else to own it.
Yes.
Because it could be a word too, right? Like
it could be a phrase.
Ford and Ford's logo are both trademarked separately, right?
Correct.
The word Ford is trademarked and the logo is
Also
trademarked.
correct.
Got you.
Yes.
Trademark.
And the shit that they make is copyrighted
Or patented.
or patented.
What's
Smell
a
me?
patent?
So a patent is great segue, Spencer. A patent is a set of exclusive rights granted by a sovereign state to an inventor or assignee for a limited period of time in exchange for a detailed public disclosure of an invention. An invention is a solution to a specific technological problem and is a product or a process. So you have to basically tell people this is the shit that I'm gonna do and this is how I'm gonna do it. And if I tell you what it's gonna be and how I'm gonna do it, then you have to give me the license to be the only person to do that thing and make that thing.
In that
Even
way.
if the
Smell
thing,
me?
even if the thing doesn't exist yet, right?
yes.
Even
I
if you
think
just have
especially-
the idea, especially if
I
it
think
doesn't
especially if
exist
it
yet.
doesn't exist.
But then
that's
you
the-
have to actually make it, or else you can't keep owning the idea. Correct?
Actually,
I don't
not
think that's true, yeah.
Yeah, you can re-up on the concept of owning an idea and never actually make it.
Yeah.
And we can
Sounds
talk about patent
oppressive.
trolls later because that's kind of part of what we're going to talk about.
That's what they do.
People who try to make shit and fail at making
Or
shit.
they don't make it. They think of ideas and ways to patent it, and then they patent it.
Right.
And then
That's
they wait
really
for somebody
soft.
else to come up with a way to actually do it, and then
It
they
is-
go after them.
Yeah.
Those people sound really lame.
Horrible people.
Yeah.
So, how y'all doing? Y'all with us? One more time. How y'all doing? Y'all with us? All right, that's what's up.
They already answered you, Ryan. Jeez.
Hey, I got to get them excited because we're about to play a game. Y'all ready for a game?
Yes.
Me too.
I'm ready.
Damn, this is not going to be tight if we don't have... If
Whatever.
We, don't-
We just we'll
we can
read
do it
to people.
without. I'm going to need you all to listen closely because we don't have pictures to show you. But this game is called Holy Shit, does someone really own this idea?
That's a great name for a game.
Thank
There's
you.
no theme song
Thank
for
you,
this
Stef.
part of the show.
I
goes,
wish.
Feels like this.
Steph found a new button.
And now a brand new segment called.
This game is called.
Who are you two Rudy Poos?
There we go.
The Rock is our next guest. Oh, I love Andrew had the hand pull and everything he knew.
Holy shit, does someone really own this idea?
Question 1.
Number one, okay, here's all I'm gonna do. Does someone own this idea? Raise your hand if you think yes or no someone owns this idea. Does someone own this idea? Edible business cards. Yup, someone, that is a patent. Someone owns edible
That
business
sounds
cards.
delicious.
Does someone own this idea? The smiley face. So they don't actually, but Walmart tried wicked fucking hard to own the smiley face.
You know what we're gonna do when you guys get run wrong?
We're booing Walmart via the Boondocks samples.
But if you get one right,
Oh snap! So Walmart did try to patent the smiley face very fucking hard. They failed miserably at that because the smiley face apparently had existed for much longer than Walmart, and so they did not allow that to be a thing. Holy shit! Does someone own this idea? Kimchi vending machines.
yeah.
People. That was not really like whether or not it existed as much as just excitement over the concept.
Show me where one is. That was take me there right now. Also, that was entirely from one person.
And I'm pretty sure you're married to her, if I'm not mistaken. That's a thing. Someone patented kimchi vending machines. That's a thing,
I love kimchi, and that sounds gross.
right? Like,
Really gross.
I don't want to go down that road.
I guess they do the, like, ice cream Mr. Good Humor bar things where it's like they reach into the freezer with the suction cup hand.
But why does that
But still,
sound like more
some
delicious?
here's cabbage.
Yeah, cabbage. Is it because it's a vegetable?
What
want
happens to
some
kimchi
old
if it
cabbage?
goes bad though? Doesn't it just become like extra kimchi? Like
Extra
it's already
delicious.
decomposing when you eat it.
It gets better.
It gets
right.
yeah.
It's aged kimchi.
I don't know. I guess just having it be in a machine,
Sounds gross, right?
knowing it's sitting there stacked up with other kimchis.
Yeah.
It has
I don't
friends,
like my
man.
kimchi's touching other kimchi.
It's gonna be happy kimchi's when it comes out because it was chilling with its kimchi friends.
Who
before
makes
you ate it.
kimchi's though?
I envision like a vat. Like it's not.
People
It's
named
not in
Kim
there
who
in
like
single
cheese.
service portions. It's just in there as
it
like
gives you a
just
handful.
It's like a soft serve machine that you just like pour kimchi out of. All right, so this projector. We're just gonna listen. All right, this one you gotta go with me. Oh, no. Pierced glasses. Steph said, "Oh no," when
What
he
does
saw the
that
picture.
mean? I can see the picture and I don't know what it is.
Piercing through the bridge of your nose that attaches to glasses.
Like you pierce right here, and then it connects this right here.
That is a thing. That is someone owns that idea.
Gross.
In fact,
boys.
In fact, there's a website that I went to, and I was like, I could do this. I could do this like
Please
tonight.
don't. Yeah, that's horrible.
Wait, wait,
not gonna
wait,
do
wait, wait, wait.
All right.
No,
Yeah, they're not gonna be happy with
wait,
that.
Ew.
The prefix Mick.
What?
You know who went for that one? MC. The prefix MC.
No.
Yeah, no. McDonald's tried really fucking hard on that one too, and they lost.
Ireland said no.
Yeah. Like you can't trademark all the people that live here. That'd be fucked up.
Hey, there's some Kellys.
I'm really bummed out that I don't have a picture for this. It is a patent drawing. And it is maybe in the running for the saddest fucking patent to ever be in
Was
existence.
this invented by a 6-year-old?
The single-person seesaw.
The world's
Yeah.
loneliest kindergartner invented this.
I'm gonna
As
try.
you all are, you are having
I'm gonna
the
try to
correct
explain
response.
this blueprint
go
is like a base, and then a straight peg, and then like a dotted line of how it goes down.
And there's like a pneumatic lever kind of that like...
It's really sad.
And then in the corner, there's just a small child crying.
Yeah, because that's the only way this
Just
would ever be
staring
used.
longingly across the emptiness of the friend that they don't have.
The only way this ever gets used is one kid just sits on it for like 2 seconds and does twice, and then he's just like...
Is that
gotta go.
more or less sad than just one kid on a 2-person seesaw?
Way
Wouldn't
less.
that be just as sad?
No, because you had to be sad for long enough to try and do this instead of finding a friend.
To never be unsad again.
And then patent
You're like,
it.
I'll never have a friend.
And I'm gonna patent my sadness and loneliness. It's reserved for me.
So I think
I do this solo
I think somebody
forever.
definitely owns that idea.
So yeah, somebody does own
Absolutely.
that idea.
Absolutely.
That's someone was sad enough to make that a real thing. The sound of a Harley. The sound of a Harley engine.
Yeah.
Yes or no? So no, but Harley tried very fucking hard to patent the sound of a Harley engine, but they were like, engine is engine, dude. What are you talking about? And that never really worked out. We're almost done. Second in the running for saddest or maybe strangest, I guess.
Probably the same kid.
Probably the same kid. Rock, paper, scissors, the card game. Oh my God. Yeah, no, think about that one for a second. No, for real. Under what circumstance?
People with no hands.
People with no hands.
And
with
then
one
how are
hand.
you going to play the cards? yeah, right, exactly.
Push
Nudge
them across
one
the
out
table.
with your chin and be like,
I'm
that's
just going to keep
me.
making visual jokes on the podcast.
Yeah, please.
Whoa
Well,
there.
we lost all the visuals for the people even here, so we're just going to have to talk through the whole thing.
Whoa there.
Whoa there.
Indeed.
Whoa there. Whoa there.
Yeah. Steph's finding new buttons. I like it.
Hey.
For what it's worth, if you go on Amazon tonight and you want to have a real sad day with your friends, you can play rock, paper, scissors, the card game
What, do you
without
own it?
flexing your digits.
Sounds like you're advertising it.
No. In my research of figuring out whether this fucking existed, you can go on Amazon and buy it for like $16.99.
Raise your hand if you would play rock, paper, scissors, the card game. Yeah, that's right. No one raised their hand because if you have hands, you don't need to play this game.
You're being perpetually booed by Steph. This is the last. I think this is the last one. Does someone own the word footlong?
So big. So good.
Yes or no? Yes. So Subway patented or trademarked the word footlong. So like apparently every footlong hot dog vendor in the fucking world could be sued by Subway tomorrow. That's a real thing. They gave it to him. It's pretty wild, right?
That's
Oh, we can't see the picture of Pigeon Rat.
I know,
Son
man.
Of a bitch.
I know.
All right.
I know.
Does that mean we're talking about patenting animals?
We're gonna move on from that right now, and we're gonna talk about
Yes.
the wildness of patents. As you can kind of see, like things get pretty ridiculous in terms of what we do and don't allow for patents and trademarks and copyrights. And I think Spencer's gonna take us down a weirder road.
That's what I'm here for.
That's always what Spencer's here for. So, show me what you got, Spencer.
Show me what you got.
All right.
All right. You guys ever heard of the Humanzee?
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah? Cool. So it's a human and a chimpanzee crossbred.
What is that called? What is this? Something Genesis, right?
Humanzee.
No,
The Chuman. It's called a Chuman.
No, isn't there like
Human is way better
Isn't
than
there like a
Humanzee.
field of science that's like breeding people with it's crossing people like those books with the
Yuck,
porcupine
I hope
top and
not.
the
Is
like
there really?
it's like
What kind of kids'
cryptogenesis or
books did
something
you
like
read?
that. You never had that book?
Yeah, it's called Animorphs.
You never had those books where you could turn the page? I was like porcupine top.
Oh, the
and
page-turning
pig
books.
Fuck you, man. Where you could turn the page, and then eventually you get to the end.
And there'd be like new
and
stuff
you
on
put
the
it
next
down.
one. But they were all about Animorphs. All right. So the Chuman or the Humanzee is a half human, half chimpanzee hybrid. And Dr. Stuart Newman, professor of biology at New York Medical College, tried to patent a human chimpanzee hybrid. And he was not successful at patenting this. And it turned out that later he was actually just trying to get the patent in order to call attention to all the fucked up things that people are doing to research animals. Oh man, you don't get to see a picture of the human chimp hybrid.
All right,
You gotta just turn
Wait,
the
he
thing
actually
around.
did it?
Well, okay.
Yes.
You gotta just turn,
Steph, yeah,
turn
would
it
you like
around.
to describe?
I'll do my best to describe this right now.
It just looks like a
be
bald
better.
chimp. This might end up being better.
Then the picture. Okay. All right. Think about what a chimp looks like, right? They look like monkey guys. They got like the big forearms. They got a bigger chest. This one looks
With
like
you?
a straight up chimp with like a really tiny head with a human face, except for like a chimp mouth nose.
And it's like bald.
and it's bald like a male pattern baldness, and it's wearing some shorts.
Yeah, what's going on in this area?
It's important to
crazy.
note it is.
It's wearing
It
some
gave
like
birth to a
some
shorts-wearing creature.
Like not like a diaper like chimps might wear sometimes, but a pair of like satin boxing shorts.
Yeah,
He's wearing some
yes.
Umbros, I think.
Umbros.
Yeah.
Soccer shorts on this.
It doesn't look like a Humanzee to me, but it is wearing shorts. So
His name is Oliver.
Yeah. So Oliver was not actually. It turns out he was not actually a human chimp hybrid. He was just a really fucked up looking chimp.
They just shaved its head and put shorts on
They
it.
put shorts on.
It works.
shaved its head and put
Eureka!
shorts on
It's
it.
just shorts.
Humanzee.
It's like, what's that movie from like the late 90s with Freddie Prinze Jr. where the girl just like, she's ugly until they like take off her, she's all that.
Yeah.
They like take her glasses off and it's like, she's beautiful. It's like,
He's
she
all
just had
chimp.
glasses on, what?
He's
Like, just put shorts on him and now he's a person.
most valuable primate. Yeah. I'm with you. Just making a bunch of jokes that are exclusively for my wife. It's the best way to make
That's
sure you grow your podcast audience.
That's real love. That's real love.
All right.
Real.
So Oliver was just a really messed up looking chimp that was not actually crossbred with humans. But
But it
for his
happened.
entire life, they thought he was. And then, like, when he got old, he settled down with an old lady chimp. And he spent most of his time smashing watermelons. And
Chimp life, bro. Chimp life.
yeah, they decide that I guess he is a chimpanzee after all. A lie was born, yeah. For like 50 years, a lie was born about this chimpanzee. If we go, so that was in like the 60s. They discovered in the 90s he wasn't actually a human. He was just a weird looking chimp with gym shorts.
They took 20 years?
That's not how math works, but yes.
Is that 20 or 30? How long was that?
Wait, what did he
That's
say?
way too long.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's way too many years.
I missed the calculation.
I said the wrong amount of way too many years for them to realize that this chimp was not a chimp
There were
human.
some really convincing Umbros. So
Them shorts look almost human.
if we go back further, Joseph Stalin actually I know.
Oh, this is gonna get sad.
way to ice down a room,
Yeah, boo
Spencer.
Stalin. I know it's not popular, but I fucking hate that dude. Sucks.
He actually maybe succeeded in making a bunch of human chimp hybrids. And in the 20s, Russia had an animal breeding scientist named Ilya Ivanov, which is possibly the most Russian name of all
Of
time.
course that was his name. Carry on.
He used to work with horses.
Of course it's Russian.
No, it just
Russian
sounds-
sounding name.
No, like Ilya Ivanov sounds like some like fucking Bond
Russian
villain
dude.
shit. Keep going.
Yeah, he basically was. His job was to make an army for Stalin that would be like just dumb enough to follow orders, but not human enough to feel bad about doing a whole bunch of fucked up things to. Yeah. So they gave this dude like millions of dollars to go to Africa to experiment with impregnating chimpanzees.
Gross.
Have fun, bud.
Gross.
Wrap it up.
No, he was explicitly told not to wrap it up. That was his job. Someone is just screaming. I'm sorry.
That's an appropriate reaction for what it's worth, to just scream.
So what happened?
Well, it doesn't. They skip a big portion of the story. I'm assuming he fucked a bunch of chimpanzees.
Well, that's what happened for
Yeah.
sure.
Likely.
It turns out none of this worked.
Oh, it turns out.
Yeah, he just spent several years fucking chimpanzees, and then came back to Russia like, yeah, I don't know.
No dice, guys. No dice. I don't know.
Still just me. I don't have any super army for you, and I
Turns
spent
out
your
this doesn't
millions of
work.
dollars.
But if you want, I mean, I can keep trying. Just send me back. Give me a couple more bucks.
I'm gonna need a couple more million rupees.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel like I was close, you know.
I just need like 20 more years.
I'm going to read directly from this article for a second. A final attempt to persuade a Cuban heiress to lend some of her monkeys for further experiments reached American ears, with the New York Times reporting on the story, and then she dropped the idea amid the uproar. So this dude goes back to Russia. What? I mean... He goes back to Russia penniless and chimpanzee super soldierless, and got banished to Kazakhstan for the rest of his life, where he died a year later. So, fuck that guy.
Of a broken heart. A chimpless country. A lonely man.
No Humanzee family to speak of.
I'm kind of glad that idea doesn't belong
What if
to
it
everyone.
did work and he kept it secret because he didn't want the Russian government to know about
Well,
it?
that's how Planet of the Apes got made.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a documentary. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Not the first or last time someone's tried to patent an animal.
True.
No.
That man failed, but someone succeeded.
Yes, Uncle Mouse.
Uncle Mouse.
Not Uncle Mouse. Although I'm going to call him Uncle Mouse for the remainder of the show because it's way cuter.
And also, it will make you less sad when you find out what Uncle Mouse is all about.
So he's saying ONCO Mouse.
As in oncology.
Oh.
Yep. Also the correct response. As in 1987, the United States Patent and Trademark Office announced that it, quote, now considers non-naturally occurring, non-human, multicellular living organisms, including animals, to be patentable subject matter.
Heck.
Heck indeed.
Heck.
Heck indeed. And in 1988, the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, Patent and Trademark Office, issued the first patent for an animal to Harvard University for Oncomouse, a mouse genetically modified to develop cancers to mirror human diseases.
Whoa there.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
What was he
Mouse.
developed for?
Why don't you tell me, Spencer?
What is my purpose?
You get cancer.
Yeah. Yep.
Aw, why'd you make me push that button?
So that's the only time we're going to push it all night. And
What is my purpose?
You get cancer.
Yeah, that is Uncle Mouse's purpose.
Whoa there.
A study at Harvard basically genetically modified mice to get cancer. Like that was their intentional purpose.
Which
And-
can't really be that hard, right? I mean, how hard is it to get cancer?
just put it in the microwave for 45 minutes. and you're
No,
out.
that's not how you
Hold
stay.
on, I didn't bring it up.
I didn't either. This is Uncle Mouse's fault, not mine.
well, I'm going to go home. Not only did they genetically modify the mouse to get cancer, though,
Yes.
they were like, this is a great idea, and you know what would make this better? If we could get rich off of it, and we should patent it and make as much money as we possibly can.
Cancer mouse.
And they do that still.
Right, yeah.
They do bad stuff.
Yeah.
What was the rabbit one that we found while we were researching this? No?
I got nothing.
There was one that we found where like
Rabbits are too far. How dare you give rabbits
cuter
cancer?
than mice, not a pest. No, like there was one where there was like some makeup company that was genetically modifying rabbits
Oh, yeah.
to have to be born without eyelids so that they could like test makeup
No,
on their
no, it
faces.
wasn't
or
You
something.
get cancer. You get cancer. You get cancer.
Did you just edit the sample?
I did.
This is no fair when Steph knows how to use machine.
Cancer.
Okay, sorry. What were you saying?
We could just hit that button for the rest.
I don't even know how. This one was even worse because it was just a regular rabbit, but they like scratched out its retinas to test Visine on it.
Oh, good.
My God.
Good.
Sorry,
Because
guys.
also, if your retinas are scratched out, Visine will fix it.
Wait, scratching rabbits' eyes out works or Visine?
Both.
Just a thumbs up. All right, fair enough.
That one is way worse because they didn't even like genetically modify it. They just took a rabbit and like poked it in the eye a couple times and then filed for a patent.
And they were denied, I think, on the grounds of it being legitimately inhumane. I mean,
I hope so.
But,
Let's hope so.
I don't
Cancer
understand why
mouse, though.
cancer mouse is less inhumane than like ripping a rabbit's eyes out.
I mean, I guess they could sell the idea of cancer mouse.
Well, so what they do apparently now, Harvard University aggressively goes after other like universities that are trying to
Make cancer mice?
make cancer mice so that they can like test out cancer drugs on the cancer mice.
You can only do that at Harvard now.
It's a very exclusive.
The
club.
only mice with cancer live at Harvard
That's just-
forever.
You've never had a pet mouse.
I have never had a pet mouse.
Yeah, they get cancer like crazy.
How hard could it be?
Yeah, this shit's easy.
Then why did they have to make one do that?
So they could make money.
I don't know, man. I've had a lot of pet mice and rats in my life, and they all got tumors and died. See, somebody else was like, yeah, it's true.
I'm sorry, man. That's terrible.
Did you name him Uncle Mouse? That might have been your problem.
And I did. I named them all Francis Fink.
Francis Fink. Oh,
Those are rat names. And you just give them like a 1, 2, 3, 4 after that. You know. I was a teenager.
so I want to stay in the world of animals, but I want to kind of change gears on you guys a little bit. To another.
Show me what you got.
I will show you what I got. I got a weird story, and man, fuck that projector. I'm gonna need you guys to go home, and I need you to
Right now.
No, don't
Please
go home.
leave.
Please
You
don't.
get cancer.
It'll make the
Oh,
rest of this
yeah.
very awkward.
You're gonna miss my Naruto Photoshop.
Yeah, we photoshopped a picture of a monkey onto Naruto's face. Okay, so in Indonesia, in let's see, what year was this? It was like 2009, I think it was. A photographer goes to Indonesia and he sets up, he's a wildlife photographer, right? He puts a camera in the middle of a jungle. He wants to get some crested macaw pictures.
Those are monkeys.
Those are monkeys. He puts the camera down and he leaves the remote to trigger the camera in the middle of the jungle and goes, I wonder what these fucking monkeys are gonna do. Turns out monkeys are smart enough to pick up a remote control for a camera and click the button enough times that there are hella
No, this is Steph's job. Come on now.
monkey selfies.
Damn it.
Can y'all see that? Can y'all see monkey selfies? That's a monkey selfie, right?
You blew it!
I just turned it around. That's all I did. There are hella monkey selfies on this dude's camera. So he's hyped because this was like the entire purpose of him going out there was like, let's see how monkeys interact with my
You
camera.
need some
and
help
shit.
there, bud?
Well, there's like 400 things connected to
with
my
your
laptop
projector.
right
It's
now.
not working anyway. You want me to just unplug it?
Well, that's actually not the worst idea. So basically what happens is this guy gets these pictures of these macaws that no one's ever seen before, and they're literally pictures of macaws that macaws took on their own.
Isn't a macaw a bird?
It's true.
You mean macaque?
Sorry, I've been saying that wrong. Macaque! It's a macaque.
It's more fun that way anyway. Just
Macaque. Macaquaus. Macaque! All right, sorry. So, the macaques. So basically what this guy does is he sells the copyright to his picture. And it starts going out on news and print. And a couple people who know the intricacies of copyright law say, well, this wasn't taken by a photographer. It was taken by an animal because the monkey hit the button. He didn't take the picture. And you can't give a copyright to an animal because it doesn't have legal rights to hold a
pay that
copyright.
monkey.
So
Somebody needs to pay that monkey.
somebody took this guy's picture and uploaded it to Wikimedia Commons, which we will get to a little bit later. But that is a Creative Commons website where you can upload pictures that you own the rights to that says anybody in the world can use this. And this photographer's picture gets blown out all over the internet, all over the world. And he stops making money off of it because it's been found in the Creative Commons. We'll get to that in a little bit. And stops making money off this picture. Now, PETA, as they are wont to do, starts making trouble. And PETA starts a court case and says, well, why doesn't this monkey, if this photographer can't get money for it and no one else can get money for it, why can't this monkey get some money for it?
Somebody pay that monkey.
Somebody pay that monkey for
Find
the
out
selfie
what
that he
monkey
took.
money is.
That's a pretty selfie. Do you need to see it again? That's a nice selfie. Look at that. That's
Look
a
at
good
that grin.
Look at that smile. He's got big teeth. He's gorgeous. That's right.
Gorgeous.
Can I tell a story real quick?
Yeah. Is it related to our macaques or is it related to something else?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Let's do this.
I used to work with a kid, and he was writing an essay, and his prompt for this essay was about pet rental services. That's a real thing. You can like rent out a pet, or you can rent a pet if you're like the sad kid with the seesaw, and you need a friend. You can go rent a dog for a day, or a weekend. If you're going out of town, you can rent your puppy to somebody that's going to appreciate your puppy. So this kid was writing about like whether that was right or wrong, and the ethical blah 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 of this, and he was asking like, well, how much does it cost to rent a dog? I was like, I don't know, like $50 for a weekend. And he's like, well,
okay then.
it's a reasonable dog price. Yeah, he was on board with that, and he thinks about it for a second. He goes, well, how much does the dog get paid? Right. And this kid was dead serious. You said, oh, like that was cute. He's 15. Slightly less cute or more cute. I mean, depending on where you're coming from. And I had to spend like a good 10 minutes explaining to this 15-year-old that dogs don't use currency. And I
But
figured
how do they eat though?
Right. Well, and that was his first question. He was like, where do they get all their stuff? 'Cause he thought dogs like walked into the store and put the shit they needed on the counter, put their dog money up there, and then they were out.
Hey, it's been a good week. I've rented myself out a lot.
I got this fire ass new collar, yo. Check me out. Fuck with your boy.
You're just describing dog prostitutes now.
Oh, back to our buddy from earlier. Oh, you can grow, and that's okay.
I got him though when I asked him where they would keep the money, and he's like, "You're right, dogs don't use money. They couldn't carry it. They don't wear pants. And if they did, which legs would they put them on, front or back?
First thing he got to buy is a wallet chain. And he'll be all right.
Yeah.
So
Carry on.
So yeah. So PETA.
Back to your birds taking selfies.
So PETA's argument wasn't actually that we should be giving money to the monkey, which thank Christ, but their idea was that they should be donating the money that is being generated off of the use of this copyright to preservation
PETA.
organizations. Yeah, right. Hey, that's ours. They should be giving that money to the preservation of the macaques in Indonesia, etc. They lost that battle, but again, I think it's interesting that...
No.
Yeah, well...
Sorry.
It's okay. You can roast
People
PETA.
aren't on board with my PETA hate,
You
apparently.
can roast PETA. But yeah, so it never really worked out for them to actually get that money going in the direction they wanted it to go to. The joke that didn't fly because of the projector is that the monkey's name was Naruto, like
Naruto.
Spencer pronounces it weird. I don't understand, but it's like an anime character. It doesn't matter. We'll keep it moving.
I had a really great 5-second Photoshop. That's just not gonna.
You're not gonna see it.
work.
We'll give it to you on the internet later.
You
and if
showed him
give
a
a shit-
selfie. Just
Check the show notes,
Show him the
bros.
thing.
We should put like a
Show
very.
me what you got.
We need a big magnifying glass so you guys can see there's Naruto. There he is as a monkey. It's good. Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yay!
If you're sufficiently weirded out, then we've done our job.
Okay then.
So
Big cats regrouped.
we should regroup. So where should we go? Do you want to go deeper into the drug world of things? Should we talk about drug patents?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Talk to me about drugs, Spencer. I've never done them before, Mom and Dad.
Your parents are here. That sucks.
It's okay. They love me unconditionally.
I mean, I love you guys, but I'm, about to talk.
But he's about to talk about drugs, is what he's saying.
Yeah, people have patented all kinds of drugs. Bayer in the 1920s, maybe?
I think it was 1914.
There we go. That's close enough. They patented heroin.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And
So cut it out, guys.
Yikes. Their main proposed use for heroin was giving it to your children when their teeth hurt.
Works like a charm.
Just a spoonful of heroin right in their face. Yeah, they'll never think about that toothache again.
But they'll never stop doing heroin. So,
It's a
pick your
very
battles.
heavy trade-off there.
Who cares about teeth?
Right.
Right. You just won't have any, and then it can't hurt. Cocaine has been patented
Yes.
by. Well, this one gets weird because the coca leaf has been used by cultures since like
Ever,
5,000 BC.
Yeah, for sure.
Since we can identify what things people were eating.
Right.
And the whole idea of you guys know about bioprospecting at all?
No.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Bioprospecting?
Go ahead.
No? Basically, people from pharmaceutical companies would get paid to go into remote parts of the world, usually rainforests, talk to shamans, figure out what sort of things they used to cure various diseases and treat the people of their tribe. Ask them if they could take some of whatever that was with them and then go back and deliver it to pharmaceutical companies and sell it to us for billions of dollars in profit.
Wow, that sounds like a fun job.
Right?
Just goes on vacations to the jungle and trips balls with people and
Yeah.
sweat tents. Is this the same dude that fucked chimps? Is
No.
Is this like his other gig?
No.
When he's not fucking chimps, he's ripping off native cultures around the world.
Just getting really
just the
high
best
while he
guy.
does it.
Sometimes both. No, there's a dude named Dr. Mark Plotkin who worked for a company called Shaman Pharmaceuticals.
Sounds legit.
It's a real thing. And one of the things they figured out is that there was this Brazilian viper whose venom supplies something called ACE inhibitors, which are now one of the most common treatments for high blood pressure. And so they originally figured this out by just picking up a snake and shaking it over a bucket. And
That's not how it works.
how do you milk a snake, Steph?
You're I can feel it. My blood pressure's going down. This is working.
They use those hooks, and they hold its head down, and then they fucking get its mouth open, and then you've seen pictures of this?
No.
I've seen.
Oh yeah, they
video-
press
I've
the
seen
face
videos.
Yeah,
through
the
head of a drum thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
they
it is.
How
take
do you milk a viper?
It's like latex, right? Like
yeah,
over
it's
the
like
top?
it's one of those like a cup, like when you take a syringe and it stays in there, it's rubber or whatever, and they figure out a way to shove that onto
So you
the
just,
tooth, and then they rub its gland where they make the poison, and then it just shoots it all into a little thing, and
Somebody
then
does
they
like
fucking
gland
run or
rubbing.
whatever. Run.
And that's how you jerk off a viper.
It's true. Anyway,
That's the weirdest applause line I've ever heard. But then you
job.
rub its glands.
Yes.
Great job.
Yes.
Great job.
Tell me more. But that drug ended up, when it turned into a high blood pressure treatment, ended up generating more than $4 billion.
I feel like you need a lot of snakes to make $4
No
billion
one,
off
and
of
no one paid any of those snakes.
Steph's still editing samples up here.
it's fun.
Good. Hey, good.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we've just stolen from snakes and or people and or plants from the rainforest, like coca. Huh? Yeah, pay those plants and those snakes and those people. Quinine.
Stuff's delicious.
Isn't that tonic?
Yeah, it's the thing that makes the tonic awesome.
Yeah.
It's also a anti-malarial drug.
Woo!
Yeah.
No shit, really?
Yeah, that's what it was originally developed for, was keeping people from getting malaria.
Good thing I drink gin and tonics.
I don't think that's how that works, but you're probably not going to get malaria anyway, so.
Let's see. Let's see.
We stole that from a rainforest. The frogs that are poisonous and Homer used to lick to get high in that one episode of The Simpsons. Yes, thank you. Yeah, there we go.
Nailed it. My guy. My guy catching the references back there. Wait, okay, this doesn't just happen in cartoons, though. This is like a real thing that people did.
Yeah, people.
Or do.
Yes, they used to. They did actually used to lick them or scrape the stuff off the back of them and ingest it, and you would trip for 3 days.
Cool.
Turns out that if you take way smaller doses of that, it just acts as a muscle relaxant.
Oh.
And it's actually now very commonly used during surgery in addition to an anesthetic. So you get like a general anesthetic, but to keep your muscles from like tightening up and stuff, you also
Lick frogs.
Lick frogs first, yeah.
Sweet.
No one paid those frogs.
It'd be weird if like a doctor gave you a mask and he was just like, here you go.
Lick this and count backwards from
Wait,
100.
that's a frog, man. That doesn't seem very scientific at all. Am I going to wake up after licking this frog?
But yeah, I mean, it brings up the question of like, if we're basically just looting the rainforests,
Who
and then-
owns fucking anything?
right, making billions of dollars off of them, and the people that we're treating, where should that money go? And the dude Mark Plotkin, who originally worked for Shaman Pharmaceuticals, now has gotten out of that business and advocates for using a lot of that money to preserve the rainforest.
Yeah, it seems like there's probably a lot more shit they could go and steal and sell for a lot more than cattle grazing land. 'Cause that seems like what's going on is they just knock down a bunch of rainforests and then they graze cattle on it.
Right.
Instead of like digging through there for more other cooler shit they could sell and we could all trip on.
Yeah. The next frog.
Next frog.
The next snake that we can milk.
Okay then.
Okay, then.
You
So-
edited too far, bro.
No, dude.
It's no longer a sample
No,
anymore.
it's
Steph
gone.
edited all the sound out of the sample. It's just a button now.
No, it's broken now.
So,
It's broken. It's not my bad.
Okay then.
all right,
He
we're
broke
back.
it. I didn't break it.
So, we've talked about what the fuck intellectual property is. Hey, there's weed up there.
Oh yeah, you
Cool.
can also the U.S. Patent
We're back!
the U.S. Patent Office is accepting patents on strains of weed again.
Really?
They used to. They stopped. Now they're doing it again. So
Because it's legal in whatever 20% of our states now.
Back to work.
except Monsanto maybe beat us to it and is making genetically altered strains of weed.
Fucking
Have they
surprise.
ever done
Agreed.
good thing? I've never heard anybody say a good thing about that company.
Also,
About
that last fact came from abovetopsecret.com, so it's probably not a fact.
I mean, don't you kind of feel like Monsanto's just trying to be the evil company?
Yeah.
Like,
They're doing a hell of a job.
Are there any Monsanto defenders? Does anybody have a good thing to say about this company?
I fucking love Monsanto.
Isn't that weird? You think at least most companies like, huh?
That's
Oh,
fair.
sure.
As in,
Do employees have good things to say about Monsanto?
only because they pay their rent. No, but you're right. I feel like the only thing that you ever hear good about Monsanto is in their commercials where they're like, Monsanto loves you.
I mean, I imagine, aside from all the controversial things that they do, there's probably one or two things that is less controversial that you'll just never hear about.
Or
They just don't
valuable
like
to some extent.
publicizing that stuff.
Yeah, nobody wants
It's not a good story.
So what's the point of like patenting and copywriting and trademarking shit?
money dollars.
1, 2, 3. Promoting progress.
You trying to start a cult, bro? What's going on?
Your robes are on your way out. So the stated objective of most intellectual property law, with the exception of trademarks, is to promote progress, and that's mostly because trademarks are only for like we talked about, like words and symbols and shit that belong to a company that they get to own. But for the most part, everybody says that patents and copyrights, etc., their purpose is to promote progress. Even though between patent trolls and owning the rainforest and the animals inside and the things that they do, etc., it doesn't really sound like that's promoting progress. But the laws are kind of interesting. They defend it with 3 main reasons why they say that patents and copyright and intellectual property, the concept of intellectual property, promotes progress. And they are financial incentive, right? So if you can own some shit and other people can buy that shit from you or license that shit from you, you can make money. That therein inspires more people to have more ideas that they can then own and sell and make money. I'm not defending it. I'm saying this is what defenders of it say, and we should and could and can and will have a conversation about this. The next one is economic growth, as in if more people are making money in a sphere or a space or can turn something into making more money, that's potentially a more of a reason to trademark and copyright things. Now this one is kind of interesting. Morality. They say that there is a morality clause related to the concept of intellectual property. In fact, according to Article 27... Are we booing morality?
We're just inning.
Nah, I was booing morality.
I get it.
Fair enough.
Well, just in that context. Come on now.
According to Article 27 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, quote, everyone has the right to the protection of the moral and material interests resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he... Can't be inclusive here. Is the author. Exactly. Let's boo a lack of
This book
inclusivity.
was written 250 years ago, though.
Yeah, there were only dudes back
The
then.
Declaration of Human Rights?
No.
Women weren't invented until like
Right.
at least the 70s.
What do you think about that? It seems you're hugging and booing. Talk about it. What do you mean?
Well, I think without okay, I think though that whole theory is kind of silly. I don't know. I feel like locking an idea down only it can't spread any further than you and your friends or you and your people can take it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas if it's for everybody, you have it, you came up with something, and then it goes out there. Somebody else can grab onto it and add to it, and maybe isn't in your circle, isn't thinking about money, is thinking about like the greater uses, and they can run with it. I feel like money just ruins everything. That's why I booted all those things. I feel like if the idea is about progressing, or if the idea is about morality, or if the idea is about whatever, when you own it and it's yours solely so you can have it and then make money off of it, I feel like it's backwards for progress, because now it's not about how can we make the greatest and biggest leaps faster and better. It's about how can we hoard this thing and not change it and not fix anything until we can milk as much money out of it, and then we maybe can change a little bit.
I think I feel like just for the interest of like,
yeah.
for like, and I'm like aggressively uninformed in this like realm of legal.
We all are.
But I feel like for the sake of entertainment, you could make the argument that if you give an incentive to inventors, you see a bunch of inventors who are searching the world for new things to make, who are getting super rich, it could incentivize other people to maybe want to pursue that career path. But it seems like I agree with you, because it seems like if the idea is that it's an exclusive idea where it's just yours, then you're eliminating competition from the market, and that's not progress. That's stagnation, right?
Couldn't you incentivize that while also like sharing whatever they create?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying not if it's about money. Like,
but even if it is about money, the more people who are sort of competing and copying off of each other, the better the idea gets. I mean, that's the free market idea, and then eventually you do generate more money, because it's not just you sitting with your idea.
you remember those little scooters that everybody called hoverboards?
Right.
Okay. So a guy invented those. One guy invented those. He spent a lot of time working on it. He figured out the right way to use the accelerometer and the different crap to make it tight. And then he sent it off to get a prototype made. And then he got his prototype and he was super excited. By the time he thought about even taking it to market, someone had copied his prototype and made a bunch of them. It went on sale long before he had figured out even what he was going to call it. And then by the time it was banned and nobody can have them or use them anymore, it had been copied and replicated, and let's get rid of the accelerometer. Let's get rid of balancing it all. Let's just like throw some cheap buttons on this. We
With
can
a
just
bunch
do
of
this.
C4 in the inside. Right?
I'm just saying, like, because it just kind of got jacked and moved, it didn't progress upward, it progressed downward, because it's all about dollars. It's all about how do we
cheap
make this
reproduction.
cheap and
Sure.
get it out. We don't take the technology that makes it something that will charge without catching fire and is actually cool to lean and ride around on. We just got this like cheap thing with buttons that'll last. We can sell it for cheap.
Right.
So I think that's where money can destroy something that's like extra. That thing could have been cool, and if it was maybe regulated in a better way, or if it was just like open, people could be grabbing it and improving it and making it tighter instead of making it cheaper and eventually catching fire and being banned from everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think like the arts and commercial for-profit businesses do things so differently than like science does in this way? Like the whole idea of science is that every discovery of one person is a discovery of all people, and like everything.
As long as the one person gets credit.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. Well, that's a
or
different
it's-
argument, though. Go ahead.
No, but you're right. You're right.
And yeah, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like, and every discovery builds on the previous one. So like, in order to send a probe into space, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of years of things and discoveries and work that had to happen, and every one is built on the previous one, without having to go through those like legal like hoops that you have to jump through in terms of like licensing, the math that you use to get to the moon, or the
process, right?
Yeah, all those things are available to you. What you do with them is up to you, as long as then you also agree to let other people build on what you discover.
Mm-hmm.
People still get paid to be scientists. We still discover shit all the time. And I know it's not a perfect example because you have like pharmaceuticals and people that don't operate under those same circumstances. But like the arts are so backwards from that. Mm-hmm. In that I need to own everything. And the most important thing as an artist is for you to own your masters and own your publishing, and so that you don't get fucked over by somebody trying to make money off of your work and your art. But like on a cultural level and on a musical level, you and I didn't invent chords,
Right.
or those drum patterns.
And why is it my right to prevent you from copying my music? I don't understand why I have that right to control what you do. If we haven't entered into a contract,
it's all money.
You know,
right. I hate to like always.
No, you're right.
Situation, bring it back to it, but
totally.
That's what it is. It's because of dollars. Everybody has to be kind of super protective of their ideas and super climbing all over everybody to like not build off what other people have built because they don't want to be the one that doesn't get paid.
Because money is finite and ideas aren't. That seems like a weird conflict, right?
Yes.
Because why should you have to keep something, like what are you missing out on if ideas are infinite by somebody else encroaching on your intellectual space?
Well, I feel like
that doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't think it would make sense to anybody if it wasn't about the gain, dude. I mean, I think it's hard to imagine or have like conceive of any of this stuff without dollars. But I feel like if I made a bunch of songs and I was like, here's my songs, here's all the stems, here's everything, and I didn't have to worry about making any money, I didn't have to do anything. People could grab these songs, they could make remixes, they could make better versions, they could do this, they could make an entire album just using the sounds that I pulled together for this thing.
Isn't that kind of what we're doing?
That is kind of what we're doing, but that's because we're all broke. Like if I was, if we try to do the same thing with all these fucking garbage Metallica stems, we'd be locked up in legal battles trying to prove why it doesn't matter that I use the stupid drums.
The recording part of it, where it's like it for some reason, I don't know why, or maybe I do. It makes more sense to me to make an argument for owning a recording, because if you really like get weird about it, it is a physical thing. There is like sort of like magnetized like electrons in a hard drive somewhere. Like there is a physical thing there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to me that you shouldn't be able to copy my song.
Yeah.
You know, like it's one
But
thing to
that
say
blows my mind as a guy who is like you are a musician. Like your life, but I'm just saying, like your livelihood.
But I also
is based on your
breathe
music.
oxygen, and I don't give a shit that other people do too.
No,
you can't own.
That's a beautiful way to look at art. I'm just trying to devil's advocate the fact that like nobody looks like art.
There's no scarcity of ideas. It makes sense to own things that are scarce because there's a potential of conflict and scarcity. You know, it's like if I buy a piece of land that has a shit ton of iron in it in the hills, and I get to homestead that land and develop that iron into something useful, and then eventually there's not. I mean, I guess you could say there's an infinite amount of iron in the universe, but on the planet there's a finite amount of iron. But the same thing cannot be said about ideas.
I was reading this book this week called "Who Owns Native Culture," and they were laying out like which things should be, the use of which things should be restricted, or like which things should be copyrighted or patentable based on whether or not one person using them limits another person's ability to use it.
Right.
And they were making the argument in a context of a religion, because a lot of native cultures are upset about their religions being appropriated by Western people. And the argument was, well, one person practicing a religion doesn't limit another person's ability to practice that religion.
Yeah.
And the counter argument to that was, well, if you're taking our traditions and our practices and appropriating them and changing them and using them in a way that we don't see fit, it does limit our ability to use them, and it blurs the line between who is of our religion and who is not.
And then I guess the question is, so what do you do about that? Do you legislate and use the state as a weapon to keep people from doing that shit? Or do you work it out in the same way that all other social contracts are worked out?
Well, and my question to you would be like, we're four musicians up here, like how does music or art fit into that context? Like,
how do you distinguish art from religion in some ways as it relates to how personal it is to another person?
Or does, you're talking about like other people playing your music or your songs or whatever, does that limit your ability to perform them, to write new songs, to have new ideas, to continue playing piano and singing and
I mean,
whatever?
not literally. I get like legally, technically, it might if somebody
But if
who was
someone's
way
doing-
more famous than me made a claim to it, and
Or
then
if
maybe
someone's
legally
doing-
I couldn't do it. But
Sorry.
no, I think it's like that. That it's not like I had 100% of the song and then you played the song and now I have 99% of the song.
Yeah.
That doesn't work like that. I mean, I still have 100% of whatever I had in the first place.
But I think music culture has evolved since the 60s where like someone would write a song and like everyone would just record a fucking version of it and put it on vinyl and be like everybody can just like play that song.
And
now,
all the black songwriters got screwed.
Well, right. And I mean, a lot of the black songwriters got screwed. And then later on, like it was almost like who owned anything anymore again, because it was all, everyone was just recording hella versions of hella songs. And to me, I go like that. I think that does like if this singer can sing a version of X song and the same singer can sing that version of that song and both of them can sell that version, that prevents like that's one record that didn't get sold by this person that got sold by that person.
Well, no, only if you think that it's one person who chose to buy this record instead of this one.
But if you had
like,
100 people playing that song, if we all sing Jingle Bells.
I'm not ever buying Bob Dylan's version of All Along the Watchtower, but I will always
Play that song.
listen. No, I'll always listen to Jimi Hendrix version.
Right.
Oh, word.
Always. Bob Dylan will always lose money on that song, whether he wrote it or not,
Sure.
because this other version is better to me.
Sure.
You know?
But that
Isn't
also,
that
also
Bob
involves
Dylan's problem?
taste.
That's money's problem. Seriously. I feel like, again, it doesn't matter if I write a song, someone else covers that song, that's their song. If they're way bigger artists than me, cool. You know what I'm saying? If they're like, this is my song, whatever. I can feel about that how I want. But if we're talking about like sales and dollars, that's the only reason where I'm going to get like mad about it. You know, if it's just like the way it used to be where nobody bought anything or paid for anything, it's just I learned this song because we were sitting around a fire and then he went north and I went south and we took our songs. That's a different thing. It's not until people are starting to get compensated to where jealousy or like not feeling like you're getting your share out of any of
Livelihood.
this stuff comes from. Right. You know, like, and like trying to think about it for me, if I will think about like pausing money for 10 years, will I still make songs? Yeah, because that's
Absolutely.
fun, you know, but like,
And I did before I knew you could get paid for it.
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's where
also,
like
I don't really get paid for it.
that's where the goals, that's where everything breaks down for me anyway, is like if you're a guy and you're in the forest and you learn that this leaf cures headaches and you're like super passionate, wow, I'm going to really fix all the headaches in my neighborhood, and you go home and you synthesize this leaf into a bunch of fucking aspirin or whatever you do. You know, like in a situation where everybody's worried about, you know, dollars and getting paid for it, you inflate that and you give it up. But if your passion is to synthesize medicines, because that's your thing, then getting past the expense or the price of getting that done, it doesn't really matter anymore after that.
Well, and I think the difference too that we see with like the world of science and math and shit is that like there are companies who house scientists and there are universities that house scientists and they pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to be like, just go science. science your ass off.
And all your ideas belong to us.
And all your ideas belong to us. But it's like stable writers at labels, kind of almost. It's like we pay you a monthly salary to churn out creativity, and we own all your shit. But for the most part, I feel
Which is fine because you're entering into that contract.
Right.
I mean, there's no unwilling party. That's a bilateral contract.
Right, for sure.
Which is different than like you covered a song. There was no contract between us before. It's like if you download something from iTunes and then like start copying and giving it to people, you are violating something because you agree to the terms and condition. It's not fucked up. It's not immoral because you're copying songs. It's immoral because you're violating a contract, which is different than...
Because you said one thing and you did different.
Because you're a liar.
Liar.
Yeah, boo, indeed. Steph, to your point about money, I wanna bring something up really quick.
Okay.
It's a okay.
Okay then.
In 1989, there was a British scientist by the name of Tim Berners-Lee. Does anyone know who that is?
Oh no.
All right, I got a couple hands.
That guy knows who Tim is.
Tim Berners-Lee is often credited with the invention of the World Wide Web. Now, it's different than the internet, but it's similar to the World Wide Web. I'm not going to get into the intricacies. But he was working for CERN at the time, CERN.
My favorite. It's my favorite science crew.
Is it?
Awesome.
The European Council for Nuclear Research, which if you listen to, it does not spell CERN, but it's in French.
And
So-
if you read Above Top Secret, they're making time machines and black holes.
Whoa.
Thanks, Above Top Secret. Thanks
Are
for
they
clearing that up for us.
Are they using the Large Hadron Collider?
Probably.
You ever listen to that, by the way?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
We can talk about it later.
So at the same time as CERN and Tim Berners-Lee working on the World Wide Web, there was a University of Minnesota program known as Gopher, and Gopher was a version of the World Wide Web. It's basically about addresses for information and locations and websites, etc., ways that you can transfer files between things. And Gopher was actually far and away at the University of Minnesota, whatever direction I should be pointing, was like kind of ahead of CERN's projects as the World Wide Web for kind of an extended period of time.
Got a way cooler name, too.
Gopher? It's
Gopher.
It's better than the World Wide Web, although the W's are it's a nice alliteration.
We wouldn't have had all those cool, like, surfing AOL jokes.
Gopher.
It'd just be a bunch of puns about holes and stuff like that.
I'm going to set my microphone down, and you're going to tell your story.
So essentially what happened is Gopher was far ahead of things, and they knew they were far ahead of things in terms of kind of sussing out what the World Wide Web would eventually be.
Sus.
And it was sus because they started charging for it. It was a nominal fee to use Gopher as a service to access and become part of the World Wide Web. And in response to this, CERN realized that they were starting to charge for a version of what they were trying to create. And so on April 30th of 1993, CERN issued a public statement stating that the three components of web software, the basic line mode client, the basic server, and the library of common code would be public domain. In their press release, they said, quote, CERN relinquishes all intellectual property rights to this code, both source and binary, and permission is given to anyone to use, duplicate, modify, and distribute it.
Technological utopia!
For what it's worth,
How'd that work out, by the way?
for what it's worth, we have the internet now, and even though we pay for its usage in multiple situations, it's essentially, we're working on making it a public service.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not, but we're working on it. But it's a little bit different. But long story short, the rest of the internet following the World Wide Web protocol came because of the fact that they said, we don't own this shit. Make it better. Take it. Make it yours. Build on it, like you said.
Yeah.
Make it something that it's not right now. Don't go pay Gopher and have it fall into a hole and into a cone of salt. Damn, didn't do that on purpose. Did not do that on purpose. Speaking of setting mics down.
Go for hole.
So I think to your point, like that's an example of money ruining things, and there has been and continues to be, as it relates to, like we were talking about earlier, Wikimedia Commons and Creative Commons, there have been these uprisings of people who are like, fuck it, everybody owns everything.
Yeah. Was that a question?
Well, it was just a thought. I was sort of falling out of of the CERN story as it relates to the betterment of
Or
things.
nobody owns anything.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
Right.
a difference.
No, that's a good point. Everybody owns everything or nobody owns anything.
Or maybe it's there. Maybe there's not. A
Yeah,
difference.
what's the difference?
No, it's the same thing. I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
A girl talk?
Yeah. What about girl talk?
I've always wondered how that shit worked.
I don't think it works.
Okay, cool.
Why don't you think it works?
I just don't like listening to it. I don't think that it's technically legal necessarily either, but I don't care because I think that if you look hard on my newer records and not so hard on my older records, you'll find samples too, and I want those to be there. Like, I don't care who samples my music, and I don't think that I will be mad at them unless it's used to make some like hateful Nazi nonsense or something. And then I'll throw a fit.
What's the coolest thing you ever stole?
Man, I stole Under Oath without thinking that they were going to be the biggest metalcore band in the history of the world.
You kidnapped them or you sampled
No,
them?
like I sampled one of their songs when they were playing like a little side stage on Warped Tour. Made my song. It took about a year and a half to come out. And by the time it came out, they were like the biggest metalcore band ever.
What year
They
was
had
this?
like invented a genre.
What year was this?
I don't know, 2007, somewhere in there.
Did they care that or know that you stole their shit?
When they found out, I've been really lucky. My least popular music is the stuff that has the most samples.
Tight.
All
tight.
the more popular stuff that has samples,
done.
those bands have heard it and brought me on tour both those times. So Under Oath heard that song, and I think maybe a couple of the members wanted to sue me, and a couple of the members were like, no, we don't do that. And then they brought me on 2 tours. One was really great, and one was miserable, because being a rapper on a tour full of like Christian hardcore bands is just not as fun as you think.
I wouldn't think it would be fun at all.
Honestly,
I think that would be kind of miserable.
I did 2 with them. I did one where I was second of 3, and I did great. And I did one where I was like first of 4, and it was a miserable experience. And then the other band, I sampled a band called Kill Sadie, and their later band, minus the Bear, asked me to go on tour because they heard about that. So I've been pretty lucky when it comes to stealing people's music so far.
And I think we all know people who have been less lucky.
Oh yeah, people get sued.
Yeah. Like, I think up here, all of us probably know someone personally who's either gotten sued or...
I mean, I know like kids at middle schools because of their concerts and stuff that like filmed a choir singing a Lady Gaga song and put it on YouTube. $75,000 to like a 5th grader. You know what I mean? It's just ruthless. It's an easy way to make money. You know?
Sue 5th graders?
Or just sue anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good business plan at all.
5th graders
money.
are terrible lawyers. They always choose to represent themselves and just whine the whole time.
And they're loaded.
Objection. Nah. Sustained.
Mason, I've stolen a bunch of your music. Sorry.
Sweet. That's great. You owe me some broccoli or something.
Cool. I gave you some bacon a while ago.
That's true. You did. It was
All
delicious.
right, we'll call it good.
If you're friends, is it just called sharing instead of stealing?
Bacon is
Are
way
we taking
better than
bacon
money.
or music?
Both.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Hey, I think we're out of time.
We are out of time, you guys.
Really?
Yeah, we got to tie things off. Thank you for booing us having to leave.
That was actually just Stef, but thank you, Stef.
This has been the What If podcast. What if ideas belong to everyone? I think they should.
I think so too.
Thank you to everybody for coming. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
To those newcomers and new listeners and old. We don't do any traditional advertising, so if you guys can tell a friend to tell a friend that we're doing this, just search for the What If Podcast on iTunes, whatifpodcast.com. If you want to call and leave us a voicemail and say some rowdy shit, please do 612-246-4614. You can leave us a message or hi at whatifpodcast.com. Give us episode ideas.
And don't download it illegally or we'll sue the shit out of you.
Our podcast is
promise we
super free.
won't.
Do whatever you want
It
and
is.
make remixes of it and make us sound even stupider.
Also, we're going to be doing this, I'm pretty sure, once a month. So if you, do you guys want to come back next month and do this again? And
I'll
hang
be
out?
back.
Whatever Tuesday this is, the third Tuesday of the month.
That would be very dope.
Yeah.
We're going to be back here doing it, and we'd love to see all of you. Steph.
If you don't have me and Eric Mayson back, we're gonna kill you guys.
Tight.
Well,
We're not gonna have new guests.
Being-
We're just gonna add people every time. So by the fourth one,
I
we'll
don't,
have
I don't
like
have
50
to be.
dudes up here.
I don't have to be here every time. I just mean you gotta ask us back.
Okay.
Or we're gonna kill you guys.
okay. Dead is worse than sued, so like
I'm gonna kill you.
new sample button.
Both of you.
New sample button is just you pulling that audio out.
I'm gonna
and
kill
putting
you.
it on the- Steph, thank you for being here. Anything you want to plug?
Oh yeah, I got a record. Go to doomtree.net.
It's really good.
Everybody do that.
Eric Mayson is on it.
Eric Mayson is on it. Mason,
Yeah.
anything you want to plug?
Nah, I'm good. I'll talk to you guys.
We love you. Thank you for being
He's
here.
on my record.
That's true. I'm on Steph's record.
Buy Steph's record
Go
twice.
by Steph's record twice. Thank you guys again so much. Get home safe. Have a great night. We'll see you next month.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
We'll be back next week with another episode of the What If Podcast.